Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Rohan Biju, and obviously when you get a next-gen console like the PS5, you do need a next-gen headset. So obviously there are multiple brands out there, but you really don't have to look further because Sony has their very own headset. These are the Pulse 3Ds. This is basically Sony's official headset, and it looks really cool. The design wise, it looks amazing. There are some really genius design choices that they've made, and also the cherry on top, it has 3D audio, which is really cool and is definitely not a gimmick. So we're gonna cover all of this in today's video, and we're gonna talk about the unboxing, talk about the specs, then we're gonna talk about the audio quality of the headset itself, and then talk about the microphone quality. So we're gonna cover all of that in the video and talk about my final thoughts and my final score that I would give the Pulse 3Ds. So before we begin, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to watch more future content like this. Like this video if you found this helpful, and comment any questions and concerns, and I'll try my best to answer them. So without further ado, let's go straight into the unboxing. Awesome, so the box is really nice, and I personally got the camo color for the Pulse 3Ds because it makes you look like a badass in Warzone, unless you're me. I'm not very good. And to talk about the color, there are other color options like the midnight black as well as the white one, which is basically the PS5 in headphone form. I personally love the midnight black. It looks really slick. And also another reason I chose camo was because it was the only one available. The other ones weren't. They're mostly sold out. But this looks really dope as well. Awesome, so let's pop the box open. Inside we can find the user manuals, then we find a paper pouch, and inside we can find the audio cable, which can help connect the Pulse 3Ds to your controller. Then we have a USB to USB Type-C cable, which is used to charge your Pulse 3D. And then finally we have the wireless dongle. Awesome. Finally, we can take out the headphones. So the camo color looks really cool, and the headset actually has a decent heft to it. It's not too heavy, not too light, but feels like the optimal weight. So let's talk about the design of the headphones. On the top, the band is made of hard plastic, and it really isn't the most premium plastic. It's slightly bendy, which is pretty good if you want more comfort, which also means that it won't snap easily. And I believe this would survive a couple of throws if you rage quit. Awesome, so now moving down the headphones, we can see that there is this rubber strap which helps a lot with adjusting the headphones to your head shape. The Pulse 3D ditches the regular moving cuffs and instead utilizes this tension rubber, which in my opinion is absolutely phenomenal and is kind of genius. It keeps the headset in the same position on my head and sits comfortably without moving around. These bands also have markings on them to let you know which is left, which is right, and it's really nice. The cuffs themselves have this rubber / fake leather feel, and they are super comfortable. My average size ears still fit comfortably in them, and the headphones themselves don't feel too heavy. The only problem I can see in the future with these cuffs is that they might crack and fall apart like other headphones. So to talk about the exterior, the sides of the headsets are black and are made of hard plastic as well. And an unfortunate part of this is that they are pretty good at attracting dust. All the controls you need on the headset are on the left cuff, and my god, there are a lot of controls on the left cuff. Here we can find the built-in microphone, a power slider, which if you turn on, you can see a blue light flash. Then you have a 3.5mm headphone jack port to connect the Pulse 3D with your DualSense controller. Then we have a USB-C port for charging, a mute button that physically shows you that you're muted with this orange accent, which is pretty cool. Then you have the volume buttons, and the cool part is that the volume up button has a small bump to let you know that you can increase the volume without having to take your headphones off. Then we have the monitor slider, which when enabled can help you listen to your own voice from the microphone, which is pretty nice. Then we have a button that can help increase and decrease the volume between your game and party chat so that you can hear your friends better if you're talking to them, or enjoy the sound of the game and reduce your friend's chatter to be less distracting. Also, when you change any of these settings, they actually appear on the display, which is pretty nice. You get a sort of confirmation that you actually clicked those buttons. Awesome, so now let's talk about my experience and the sound quality I had with the Pulse 3D. So first, let me give you a disclaimer. The Pulse 3D's 3D sound ability only works with newer and compatible releases, and if you are playing a game that doesn't utilize the 3D sound, you'll be left with stereo audio, which is not very bad. So the 3D sound aspect of the headset isn't a gimmick at all and provides a very immersive and texture-filled experience. It definitely gives you the upper hand in games that really require you to notice your surroundings and understand where the audio is coming from for games like Warzone or even The Last of Us. With 40mm neodymium drivers, the quality of the sound itself is alright straight out of the box, but you can actually tweak the sound settings to enhance the audio, like enhancing the audio of footsteps or gunfire. So to do that, you can start by launching the quick menu on your PS5 and hitting the sound settings. You can find the EQ presets. You can choose one of the presets provided or change it according to your liking. For me, this significantly enhanced my audio and sounded pretty good, and I would recommend you to do the same if you feel unsatisfied with the bass audio. And talking about getting audio, you have two options, both wired or wireless. There's no major difference sound quality wise, but just to keep in mind, when using wired, you can't use any of the buttons on the headphones themselves, and you will have to use the console settings to tweak the audio. But with wireless, you can just plug your dongle into the PS5 and all the settings and buttons on your headset work. Awesome, so now let's talk about the microphone quality. So here is a quick test of the microphone. So right now, this is the audio you're getting from the Pulse 3Ds. You can hear a bit of reverb. There's also like no way that it's blocking any background noise. It'd be very noticeable when using these headphones. And as I already mentioned, there's a lot of reverb and you can hear it pretty clearly. So to be honest, the audio does not sound great. It really isn't comparable to other headphones. And I feel like you actually could get better audio with much more cheaper headphones. And if you actually want to watch a video where I review a very affordable headset, you can click this iCard right here, and I think this would also work pretty well with your PS5. So coming back to the Pulse 3Ds, these microphones catch a lot of reverb, and it also catches a lot of background noise. So if you have people talking in the background or have noises in the background, it will be heard. The microphone quality isn't the best for the price, but they do get the job done. So one thing to note is that if you use the headset wirelessly, the only way to mute it, in my experience, is through the headphones themselves. And this means that you can't use the mute button right here, which I feel like is an oversight from Sony. It just does not make sense that you have to mute using your headset instead of what's right in front of you, but that's the only one problem I noticed when using it that way. So that was pretty much it, talking about the Pulse 3D's audio quality, its microphone quality, and all its amazing features. So now let's talk about the final verdict and my final thoughts about the Pulse 3Ds. So in my final thoughts, I think the Pulse 3D is a decent headset if you are looking for a base one for your PS5, with decent audio and an amazing 3D sound, which really isn't a gimmick and adds that cherry on the top in terms of full immersion. And playing games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, it sounds really amazing and it's fully immersive. The comfort of the headset itself are phenomenal, and it's probably something that I would wear for hours while gaming without feeling stress on my ear. With its amazing, quite genius adjustability, I think this is probably one of the best headsets I've owned in a long time in terms of comfort. It's actually kind of genius how this thing works, because this is really smart. And obviously, as I've mentioned before, there are some downsides to this, and probably the most notable, and I feel like the one that might turn away the most, is the microphone quality. As you heard, it's not the best, a lot of reverb, very clear background noise. I mean, if you really aren't, ready to hear all of that, I would not recommend these headsets. There are a lot of inexpensive versions, a lot of wired versions, which could do the job much better, but they also come at a cost. You might not get the 3D sound and you might not get it wirelessly. So there are some things to consider before choosing your favorite headset and your go-to headset for the PS5. So in the end, considering both the pros and the cons, the final score that I give the Pulse 3Ds is an 85 out of 100. It's a pretty good headset with some minor flaws. And if you do want to purchase the Pulse 3Ds, I've left a couple links in the description that you can go check out. So if you do want to watch more future videos, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to watch more future content like this. Like this video if you found this helpful, and comment any questions or concerns, and I'll try my best to answer them. So if you want to watch more videos, here is an amazing monitor that you can go check out. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you next one. Peace.